up about 20 kilos of my dat food boilies to chum out. I also brought with me my pellet mix, which I've added to some of the crushed up boilies too as well, and I'll explain that in a minute. But for hook baits in New York, we can use 3 rods. So what I'm using right now is I've got one of my dat food boilies topped with a bit of maize. On the second one, I've got a snowman rig with a Mistral pop-up and one of my dat food boilies bottom bait. And lastly, on Dean's advice, I'm rocking tiger nuts on the 3rd rod. So all 3 I've produced for me so far. And to add to that when I get it out there, I'm going with the PVA approach. So I'm using the 4/3 PVA tape to make up these nice stringers of boilies to add to it. Also, I've crushed up a lot of the dat food boilies, as I mentioned, and added them to my pellet mix here. And then I'm using that to make up really nice PVA mesh bags full of crushed up boilies pellets using the 4/3 PVA. Really great stuff. It's been performing very, very well for me. I'm definitely confident in using it. It's getting the bait out there, and the results are there. One of the tougher things to do with PVA is to get particle into it. And there's obviously a few different ways that you can make particle PVA friendly. Obviously, a lot of anglers like to use salt to achieve the desired effect. Personally, what I like to do, and I'm going to show you here in a second, is use a lot of things that I'm using on the bank in my solid PVA or my mesh, which I really think that actually just enhances what I'm doing anyway, the baits that I'm using for hook baits. So one of the things I do is I take my particle mix, you guys can see here, I'm going to squeeze out a bunch of that juice because we can't have the really wet particle mix in this. We'll just throw a few handfuls of that into a spare bucket or bowl. You guys can see my particle mix there. It's got a lot of maize, sweet corn, I got very few, but I got a little bit of hemp seeds and tiger nuts, crimped oats, things like that. Take a couple handfuls of that and get the particle in there just for demonstration purposes. Next thing I like to do is I'll take some of the pellet or stick mix stuff that I'm using. This has got a few different types of pellet in it, and some crushed up boilies and things like that in it as well. So we'll just throw a few handfuls of that in. We'll give that a little bit of a stir. And you can see already it starts to really kind of take a lot of the moisture away from, spreads the moisture around a little bit more, makes it already a little bit more PVA friendly. The last thing that I'm going to do is take the dip that I'm actually using. This one's like a kind of a buttery Scopex. I'm going to add a bit of that into it as well. Now this is a really sugary dip. So what I do is after I mix it up, I get this nice gooey sticky mix of pellet and particle right there. Very sweet smelling, covered in flavor, and very PVA friendly. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use one of the 4/3 50 by 90 mil pellet bags. So you guys can see how these function as well with the mix. And what I like about a lot of these PVA bags is that they have a lot of stretch to them, so you can really get your fingers in there and kind of spread them open a bit as well, which is nice. I like a good durable PVA bag. Now I'm going to put this rock in here to simulate a lead for the demonstration in a moment, and then basically all I'm going to do is really just stuff this full of particle. I'm just going to push the stuff down in there, a little mix here, wrap it up tight. Don't really need to give it too much of a liquid stick for what we're doing. I don't have my needle on me. Poke a few holes here with the stick. Really a bad bag, but for demonstration purposes I just wanted you to see that it's very PVA friendly, so it holds up in that, and then I'll show you what it looks like in the water. So there you have it. Another really simple way to get particle into your solid TVA bag, or your TVA mesh. He said it's a good mix. These pellets just break down super quick, so you've got a lot of this just clouded attraction right around your particle. Irresistible.
Wake up in New York. Wake up in New York. Wake up in New York.
This is a beautiful thing. High double, 19 pounds, 3 ounces, out of the St. Lawrence River, Ogdensburg, New York. Gorgeous fish. Huge paddle. One heck of a scrapper right All right, just had a great wake-up call with what will be probably one of my last fish of the session, but a gorgeous 22-pound, 8-ounce common. He's got a little bit of a mirror in him there near the tail, but he's primarily a common. Heck of a tussle. Awesome. You guys may have seen from my Facebook last week, I made up about 20 kilograms of blah blah blah.
You said to me I could be your voice, wrong time for me. You're on time for me. You're on time for me. What do you see, feel? What do you feel and think? What do you think, you think? What do you feel, you see? What do you see, feel? What do you feel, you think? What do you think, you think? Think, think, oh, ah, 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 oh, oh, ah, 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 oh,
All right, fantastic wake up. This one will probably be one of my last fish of the session. But a gorgeous. Oh. Yeah, sorry I'm talking to the camera.
Oh, that's okay.